Namaskar, good afternoon. You are watching Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with Midday News. Let's begin the bulletin with the headlines. Chennai Connect, a new chapter in India-China relationship, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi after delegation-level talks with President Xi Jinping. Chinese President calls informal summits in Wuhan and Chennai, suggested by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a good idea. Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes blogging at Mamallapuram beach, picks up litter while jogging for half an hour, urges people to ensure our public places are clean and tidy. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu leaves for Sierra Leone on second leg of the two-nation tour to hold delegation-level talks with President Julius Maada Bio. Several agreements likely during Vice President's visit to African nation. Election campaigning in full swing in poll-bound Maharashtra and Haryana. Shiv Sena releases manifesto in Mumbai. Electricity rates, farmers on top priority. And MC Mary Kom creates history, wins bronze in a women's World Boxing Championship in Russia, becomes first boxer to win 8 medals in world tournaments. Our top focus this afternoon with a view for improved bilateral cooperation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Chennai Connect is the start of a new era in India-China relations. In an opening statement after the informal talks in Mamallapuram with President Xi Jinping. Prime Minister Narendra Modi added that the Wuhan summit instilled a new momentum and trust in bilateral relations, leading to improved strategic communication. According to the Prime Minister, both leaders have vowed to increase global interaction. The Chinese president also expressed his jubilation at the heart-to-heart discussion on bilateral relations with Prime Minister yesterday.
पीपल्स रिपब्लिक ऑफ चाइना की स्थापना की 70वीं वर्षगांठ पर आपको और चाइना के सभी नागरिकों को मेरी तरफ से हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। तमिलनाडु राज्य और ऐतिहासिक शहर चेन्नई सदियों से भारत और चीन के बीच हमारे सांस्कृतिक और व्यापारिक आदान प्रदान का साक्षी है। मुझे खुशी है कि इस सांस्कृतिक धरोहर के कुछ सर्वोत्कृष्ट उदाहरणों के आपको परिचित कराने का गौरव हमें मिला। एक्सेलेंसी, पिछले 2000 सालों के अधिकांश कालखंड भारत और चीन दुनिया की प्रमुख आर्थिक शक्तियां रही हैं। अब इस शताब्दी में हम फिर से साथ साथ उस स्थिति को प्राप्त कर रहे हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, पिछले वर्ष वुहान में हमारी इनफॉर्मल समिट से हमारे संबंधों में इंक्रीज स्टेबिलिटी और फ्रेश मोमेंटम आया है। दोनों पक्षों के बीच स्ट्रेटेजिक कम्युनिकेशन बढ़ा है। हमने तय किया था कि हम मतभेद को प्रूडेंटली मैनेज करेंगे और डिस्प्यूट नहीं बनने देंगे। एक दूसरे के कंसर्न के बारे में सेंसिटिव रहेंगे और हमारे संबंध विश्व में शांति और स्थिरता के कारक होंगे। एक्सेलेंसी, ये सभी हमारी बड़ी उपलब्धियां हैं। इनसे हमें भविष्य में और अधिक प्रयास करने की प्रेरणा मिलती है। चेन्नई समिट में अब तक हमारे बीच द्विपक्षीय और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर महत्वपूर्ण विचार विनिमय हुआ है। वुहान स्पिरिट ने हमारे संबंधों को एक नया मोमेंटम और ट्रस्ट दिया। आज के हमारे चेन्नई कनेक्ट से दोनों देशों के बीच सहयोग का एक नया दौर शुरू होगा।
Mr. Prime Minister, last year we held the first informal summit. Actually, this initiative was put forward by you, Mr. Prime Minister, and I agree that it is a good idea. Indeed, the Wuhan summit ushered China-India relations into a new stage of healthy and steady development. For the past 1 year or so, the informal summit continues to produce visible progress. We have deeper strategic communication, more effective practical cooperation, more diverse people-to-people and cultural exchanges, and we have a closer cooperation on multilateral occasions. What has happened has proved that we have made the right decision to have this kind of informal summit, and we can well continue with this form of meeting.
Trade and terrorism dominated the talks on Friday between the two leaders over dinner hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two leaders vowed to jointly combat terrorism and radicalization during a 2.5-hour open and cordial one-on-one discussion over dinner. They also deliberated on trade and economic issues with a focus on identifying new areas for investment and enhancing trade volume.
Some of the other topics included the challenges that both countries face on account of terrorism. There was an acknowledgement that both countries are very complex, they are very diverse. Both leaders said that these were large countries and that radicalization was a matter of concern to both. And that both would work together to see that radicalization and terrorism did not affect the fabric of our multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-religious societies. And there was a general sense that both leaders had that this was a common challenge that we face and that we will work together to overcome it. Broadly, today's discussion focused on the national visions and on how to progress bilateral relations.
She arrived in Chennai on Friday on a 2-day visit for his second informal meeting with Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took Chinese President Xi Jinping on a guided tour of the UNESCO-declared heritage monuments at Mamallapuram. Clad in the Tamilian attire of a white dhoti, white shirt and an Angavastram, Prime Minister Modi received Jinping at Arjuna's penance, from where the tour started. This was followed by visits to Krishna's Butterball, the Pancharatha and Shore Temple. The Prime Minister was seen explaining to the Chinese leader the historical significance of the monuments. Both leaders also sat at Pancharatha and discussed many things in a very comfortable environment. From Pancharatha, both leaders visited the beautifully lit up Shore Temple, a symbol of cultural heritage of the Pallava dynasty. Prime Minister Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping were joined by top delegates of both the sides. Both the leaders and delegates sat for a cultural event organized by the Chennai-based Kalakshetra Foundation. Prime Minister Modi gifted Nachi Karoli, a branched Annam lamp and a Thanjavur painting of dancing Saraswati to Chinese President Xi Jinping. And for more on this, we'll go across to our correspondent, Kriti Mishra, who is joining us from Mamallapuram, and Akhilesh Suman, who is joining us from the newsroom. First, coming to you, Kriti. Informal summits are usually not agenda or outcome driven. But what are the tangible outcomes of the delegation level talks?
Well, Smriti, we've seen these spectacular visuals, and of course, the globe would be watching the bonhomie between these two world leaders and Asian superpowers. Of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi lent his special personal touch while bidding adieu to President Xi Jinping. And he also said that differences between the two nations cannot become disputes. He also said that if Wuhan provided momentum, Chennai talks would open novel avenues and novel chapter of ties between the two sides. In fact, President Xi also acknowledged the warm hospitality and underscored the need for greater communication, deeper cooperation, and both sides agreed that they have to be sensitive as far as the issues are concerned. And we've seen how Foreign Secretary yesterday said that several issues pertaining to trade were discussed, and also issues related to radicalization and terrorism and the need to combat terrorism, that was also discussed. Specifically, the cultural and the historical ties that was also reflected in the kind of gifts that were given to President Xi, that Thanjavur painting, that Annam lamp, and the Kanchipuram spread that was given, rekindling and reigniting the historical ties that Mamallapuram or India had with China, opening novel avenues of cooperation, collaboration, and also confidence building measure, and the peaceful resolution of all issues between the two sides. So certainly a very important meet, and right now we're just getting, Smriti, that around 1:30 the Foreign Secretary will brief the media on the outcome of this informal summit. Of course, there was no structured agenda, so the two leaders discussed a wide gamut of issues pertaining to both sides. Certainly trade was the most important one in order to make bilateral trade more sustainable, and also truncating the trade deficit between two sides. So certainly a big takeaway as far as India and China and the globe certainly would be watching on these two, on this important development that took place in Mamallapuram. And now President Xi would be taking off for Nepal. Over to you.
Right, Kriti. So trade and terrorism and security were the top of the agenda of the talks between the two leaders. Coming to you, Akhilesh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that after Wuhan spirit, Chennai Connect is a new chapter in the relationship with China. Now, how pivotal, how important are these informal meetings between the leaders, between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi in bolstering the ties between the two countries?
You're right, actually, Smriti. It is out of the box format, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi had devised it last year, and President Xi Jinping also accepted that it was the idea of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for this informal summit, and now he feels that it is successful. So you can understand that when the relations are so complicated, that we have convergences also and we have divergences also, we have connections also, and we have some disconnect also. And our societies are also very diverse. Both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping accepted that their societies are very diverse, and in that diversity, you have to find the points of connect, and that is why it is coming out as Chennai Vision. And what is the Chennai Vision is sorting out the differences so that you can converge on mutual interest, and also you can converge on issues that are very important for global peace. So I think this is coming out as a Chennai Vision, and that Prime Minister and President Xi Jinping both accepted that Wuhan summit experiment was very successful, and they had been successful in making a strategic guidance to the respective government machineries, and that strategic guidance has worked. So now once you are in Chennai Vision situation, you know that their challenges are very common, and that major challenge is understanding about terrorism. What China understands about terrorism against us may not be the same as we feel about it. So this, I think this is the thing that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was persuading Mr. Xi Jinping that, this is the common threat. And both of them accepted rather that radicalization is becoming a major problem in the development of both the countries, and also radicalization is the major thing. And I think that once Foreign Secretary is going to brief, we can get really some certain things. But one thing I will mention you that Xi Jinping mentioned that we have discussed certain proposals and certain issues, and we will respond to it. So I think it is not that everything is in blank. There are certain issues, there are concrete issues that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has proposed and President Xi Jinping has raised, and both are going to respond on it in coming days. So let us see that what are the responses from both the sides.
Right. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for joining us, and thank you so much, Kriti, who was there in Mamallapuram and getting us all the ground report from there. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those insights. So, after the Wuhan summit, which was held in 2018, the informal talks were held between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This Mamallapuram visit of Chinese President Xi Jinping to India was also the informal summit, which was held between the two leaders. Remember, our Chinese president has hailed this experiment done by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which was started last year. And of course, a large gamut of issues were discussed between the two sides, with trade, radicalization, terror and security being on the top of the agenda of this summit. And this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was seen plogging at a beach in Mamallapuram ahead of continuing informal talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Prime Minister Narendra Modi continued jogging and picking up litter at the beach for around half an hour. In a tweet, Prime Minister said that let us ensure our public places are clean and tidy and also ensure we remain fit and healthy. After launching the Swachh Bharat mission, which has gained a lot of momentum pan-India, Prime Minister Modi has been reiterating the citizens to participate in the program with enthusiasm. And with that, we'll slip into a very quick break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us.
Million people have now given the thumbs up to Rajya Sabha television. RSTV's growth has been phenomenal, with the journey from 2 million to 3 million being completed in less than 6 months. That's over 6,200 new subscribers every day. Our online viewers are engaging with us more actively. Every day, thousands like, share and comment on our videos. So come and join this growing tribe of RSTV viewers and get ready for an exciting journey.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. And when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song, Amar Shonar Bangla, as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, who is on a two-nation Africa tour, has embarked on the second leg of his two-nation tour to Africa. He is en route Sierra Leone after concluding his visit to Comoros. Tomorrow, Vice President will meet with Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio. He will also hold delegation-level talks with him, after which several agreements will also be signed between the two nations. Vice President Naidu will also address the Indian community during his visit. On 14th October, he will meet with Dr. Abbas Bundu, Speaker of the Parliament there. And let's now get you all the election stories. First, the news from Haryana, where the BJP will release its vision document for Haryana tomorrow. For its manifesto, the party has received over 1 lakh suggestions from the public. Union Minister JP Nadda and Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar will be present at the launch of the manifesto. And let's now get you all the news and updates from election battleground in Maharashtra. Shiv Sena released a manifesto for upcoming Maharashtra Assembly elections on Saturday. The manifesto, Vachan Nama, was released in the presence of party chief Uddhav Thackeray and Yuva Sena chief Aditya Thackeray, who is also the Shiv Sena's candidate for Worli at Matoshri. Aditya added that although this manifesto is for the entire state of Maharashtra, smaller manifestos will be released for separate regions. The party manifesto promises a 30% relief to electricity consumers who uses 300 units a month, basic health test at ₹1 and bus facility for school-going girls. The manifesto has also promised benefits for farmers. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hit the campaign trail in Maharashtra from Sunday. He is scheduled to address 9 rallies in 4 days in the state. On Sunday, he will hold rallies in Jalgaon and Sakoli in Bhandara district. On 16th of October, Prime Minister will campaign in Akola and Panvel and Parthur, while on 17th of October, he will address rallies in Pune, Satara and Parli. Prime Minister Modi will campaign for the BJP in Mumbai on 18th of October. And continuing with our special focus on assembly elections in Maharashtra, we will look at the Konkan region today, known as Little Slice of Paradise, situated in the picturesque Western Ghats. The region's 5 districts are gearing up for the contest between the BJP, Shiv Sena alliance and Congress NCP combined. But the bigger battle, however, is within the BJP-Shiv Sena alliance, which has set aside its poll pact for Kankavli seat. Both parties are also facing severe infighting over distribution of tickets.
Fresh from the electoral success of the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections, BJP and Shiv Sena leaders campaign in Maharashtra to further better their tally for the assembly polls later this month. Both parties have forged a pact for the assembly election, but the allies find themselves on either side of the fence on the Kankavali seat in Konkan's Sindhudur district. This is the seat from where the BJP fielded Nitesh Rane, son of former Maharashtra Chief Minister Narayan Rane, against the wishes of the Sena. The Sena has been at loggerheads with Narayan Rane, who left the party to join the Congress in 2005. Nitesh Rane, who recently left the Congress and joined the BJP, is now pitted against Shiv Sena candidate Satish Sawant. Incidentally, Rane is the sitting MLA from Kankavali, which he won in 2014 on a Congress ticket. Unhappy with the seat-sharing arrangement, Sena and BJP rebels are also battling it out in other constituencies. The Konkan region is spread over 39 seats in 5 districts. With 18 assembly seats, Thane sends maximum number of MLAs from the region, followed by Raigad with 7 seats,
Palghar with 6 seats, Ratnagiri 5 and Sindhudurg 3 seats. In the last assembly election in 2014, the Shiv Sena bagged a maximum of 14 seats in the region, followed by the BJP with 10 seats. Both parties, which had fought the elections separately, gained 5 seats each from 2009. The NCP won 8 seats but lost 2 seats from 2009. The Congress, however, managed to win only 1 seat, losing 2 seats from 2009. This time, the Sena is contesting on 124 out of the total 288 constituencies in alliance with the BJP, which has nominated candidates for 150 seats. The rest of the seats are allotted to smaller allies from the BJP's quota. Congress and NCP are contesting on 125 seats each, while the remaining 38 seats will be distributed among smaller parties. However, the rebellion within the BJP and Shiv Sena alliance could impact the poll prospects in some cases, giving an edge to the opposition. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And sports news now, MC Mary Kom signs off with bronze in finals. 6-time champion Mary Kom settled for a bronze medal in the World Women's Boxing Championships after losing 1-4 to Turkey's Busenas Çakıroglu in an intense semi-final bout on Saturday. The Indian contingent sought a review of the decision, but the appeal was turned down by the International Boxing Association. Mary Kom later tweeted expressing her anguish at the loss. How and why? Let the world know how much right and wrong the decision is. And that's all we have for you in this edition. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.